Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I am the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is part of a 5-part series on BNI Connect, mostly for new members, but really for anybody that is coming into BNI Connect for the first time. So whether you just joined BNI last week or last month or 2 months ago, or whether you're a veteran member of 10 years and coming around to giving BNI Connect a try, that is what this series of webinars is designed for. So we started our series earlier in the week with step 1, which is filling out your profile, how to go into your profile and make sure that you're really putting the right face forward. Step 2, which was on Wednesday, we talked about how to pass referrals online through BNI Connect and really to utilize the online slips portion. Today what we're going to do is we're going to expand our horizons a little bit. We're going to start digging past the home screen here and looking at some of the social media components of BNI Connect. So how do we find other BNI members around the world that we'd like to either talk to or establish a relationship with, or be able to pass referrals to or receive referrals from at some point in the future? How do we add them to our connections? How do we join into the discussion groups, all of those different social media things. And then next week, we're going to continue the series. We're going to do step 4 on Monday, which is going to be the member tools and reports, where we're going to dig even deeper into BNI Connect to find out some of the other things available to all members. And then on Tuesday, we're going to talk about the visitor process and how to use the invitations in BNI Connect, how to pre-register your visitors, and how to follow up with them as well. Before we get started on today's content, just a couple of quick housekeeping tips. First of which is that this is a live webinar. So that means if you have any questions whatsoever as we're going through the material today, please do not hesitate to ask those questions. The best thing to do is to type your questions in. I will see those questions pop up on the screen, and I will be able to answer them as we're going through the material today. Or if it's something that's completely unrelated, I can always save all those questions till the end and answer any questions you'd like to. We're scheduled for approximately 30 minutes worth of content. That's about how long it takes to go through the features here in BNI Connect. That being said, I will stay on this webinar, on this call, until every single question is answered. Feel free to ask about anything in BNI Connect, and I will do my best to answer that. We are going to be recording this session today. As a matter of fact, I'm already recording it. I will be uploading that to our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. Again, that's youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. If you'd like to be notified when these get updated, please do subscribe to our channel up there. But this is really our library of videos. We have tons and tons of videos, hundreds of recorded webinars, as well as other things like education moments and other special presentations like the Power of Connect. So please do check us out on YouTube as well. You can also find all of our recordings and all of our help documents as well up on the support site. The easiest way to get to the support site is to just click this question mark here in the upper right-hand corner. That will take you over to the support site, and when you're there, you'll see our list of upcoming webinars. And if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see chapter training and documentation. Here you'll see recorded webinars as well as all sorts of things like guides and walkthroughs and step-by-step instructions. So please do check us out on the support site as well. So let's talk about the networking, the social media components of BNI Connect. And really, to me, this is a huge benefit as a member, is being able to take advantage of the global community that is BNI. For those of you that are just joining us for the first webinar today, one thing that you may not know is that I'm also a member of BNI. I joined BNI in 2002. I've been in the same chapter since 2002, the BNI Wakefield chapter. We just had our meeting yesterday. We meet on Thursdays here in Rhode Island. And one of the things that was really hard to do before BNI Connect was really to find any information about any other BNI Connect or any other BNI member outside of my own chapter. And even for the ones in my chapter, it was really hard to find the information about them unless we exchanged that information directly. BNI Connect has really opened up the BNI world that way, in that every single BNI member around the world has a profile that's available through the BNI directory, which means that I can look for another BNI member right here in town, within the state of Rhode Island, within the United States. I can search for BNI members in Canada and Australia. Pretty much the entire BNI world is here in BNI Connect. And that means that we really have this resource at our hands that never really had before. For example, if you have a cousin in Colorado or a grandmother in Georgia, and they need help with anything, you can pretty much turn to BNI Connect in order to find somebody that does those services. With BNI, we have this kind of level of trust that doesn't necessarily exist when you just go and find somebody on Google or Craigslist or Yelp or Angie's List or any of those other types of sites. Because we have the membership committee, because we have our application process, because we have the referral process and VCP, we really do start out with a different level of credibility than just anybody else. So let's take a look at how we can really utilize this big global system. So as I mentioned before, this is the home screen of BNI Connect. This is where you log in and do all your referrals and see your statistics. Now, before we start going into the networking stuff, I do have to just remind you, if you haven't done so yet, please fill out your profile. Really easy to do. I'm just going to do a quick 2 minutes on this. All you have to do is click on Update Profile, My BNI page, or go up to here to Options and click on My Account, which is available from any screen in the system. Both take you to the same place. Once you get into your profile area, all you really need to do is to go through the tabs and fill out all the information there. It's as easy as that. So fill out all the information on this tab, on the User Profile tab. Make sure you upload a picture and a company logo. Fill out all your company details. A really important one here, by the way, is when we're going to get into this searching and looking at the global directory, right here on the Settings tab under Member to Member, this controls what people will see when they find you in BNI Connect. Now, what I like to do, this is just me personally, as a member, I like to share all of my information with everybody. Keep in mind, this is only available to other BNI people. So this is not publicly displayed on the internet settings. This is within BNI. The internet settings are on the tab with the little telephone there. So here I'm deciding what I want to share with other people here in BNI Connect. And I'm choosing to share everything. Now, I highly recommend that, worst case scenario, maybe you want to hide your email until you're connected with somebody, but you probably want to share your contact details with everybody. That way, if somebody's looking to use you as a resource or pass a referral to you, they can look you up in BNI Connect and at least be able to get in touch with you with your contact details. Take a moment to fill out your bio and your gains profile and things like that. Now, going back to the first tab, one other thing that I just want to take 1 minute on is this keywords section here. As we're going to get into in a minute, when we start searching in BNI Connect, keywords are very, very important. Keywords are how people find you when they don't know your name. Again, keywords are how they find you when they don't know your name. BNI Connect will search against your address, and it'll search against your name, and it'll search against your category and your profession or your industry and classification as it is here in the United States. But the keywords are really where you start to supplement that information. And you'll see here in my keywords, I've done a couple of things that might be a little bit different. The first of which is, I obviously have filled it in with all the other words, keeping in mind that BNI is a database search. BNI Connect is a database search, and we don't quite have the same algorithms and things like that that a Google or a Bing or a Yahoo might have that have spent billions of dollars coming up with ways to guess at what you might be looking for. BNI Connect is a database search, which means we're searching against the actual words and that appear in the database. So keeping that in mind, when let's say that you're a bookkeeper, and if somebody does a search for bookkeeper, that's different than doing a search for bookkeeping because they're two different words. So if your classification is bookkeeper, you may want to put bookkeeping into the keywords so that they find you for that. In addition, locations help as well. We're going to search against your address. So that means we're going to search against your state. We're going to search against your city. What you may want to do is to put additional states or cities or counties or towns where people are likely to search for you into the keywords. So for me, living in Rhode Island's a really, really small state. So we do a lot of business in neighboring states. So I put those state abbreviations here. The same might be true in the opposite. Let's say that you live in a very big state like California or Texas or even another country, France or Germany or Spain. You may want to put certain cities in here that you want to make sure that you're found in besides the one that you might just live in or do business in. Of course, if you make any changes here, click Update. Now, everything on your profile, except for the keywords, will take effect immediately. The keywords do take about a half hour to re-index into the search algorithms. So everything else will change immediately. The keywords take about a half hour to re-index in the system. All right, so let me go back to the home page here now that we covered that. Now, the place to find the networking. Gary has a quick question. Gary says, is there a limit to the number of keywords? I believe that we're limited to 200 characters, so it's not the number of words, it's the number of characters. So hopefully that helps there, Gary. All right, so to get to the networking, we would go to My Network here. So we have the My BNI Business, and we can click on My Network. And I think Gary must be from Hawaii. He said mahalo, which I think is thank you in Hawaiian, if I'm not mistaken. So thanks, Gary. All right, so we click on My Network, and here we have a lot of the the networking components of BNI Connect. We have the connections. Now the connections, you can see I have 524 connections. These are the people that I've made some type of connection with here in BNI. So I met them at a networking event, or in my role I get to go around the world and meet people, and I do these webinars and get to meet people. So I have quite a few connections. It's really my BNI address book, so it keeps those personal connections. Now, there's no need to add every single person in BNI. That's what we have the directory for, which I'll show you in a minute. This is really meant to be your first level connections once you meet people. You'll automatically start out with all of the people in your chapter as connections. So those ones are managed automatically. As soon as somebody joins your chapter, they'll become a connection. When they are dropped from the chapter, they will no longer be a connection. Other ones, as you meet people, you can add them as a connection. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. The next section here, the next tile here, is the groups functionality, and the groups are where you can go and have discussions with people around the world. Right now there's, I think somewhere in the 400 to 500 range of groups out there, and there's discussions about everything, BNI related, not BNI related, just having to do with people's professions or their positions. All of that information is available in groups. The next section here is the documents. The documents is a regional library. So it is a place where your executive director, your regional office, can upload documents that they would like to share with the chapters within the region. As a member, you can't upload anything there. This is really for your regional office use, and it is going to be different for everybody since it'll be your executive director or your regional office that is uploading those documents and sharing them. Then going down to the bottom row here, we have testimonials. You can leave testimonials for people. So as you are connecting with people and as you're doing business with people and people in your chapter or just people around the world, you can then leave them a testimonial on their profile, and that will appear on their profile for everybody to see. The events tile, you can go into the events and take a look at all of the regional training and networking that's available in your area. On here, this one is going to be a list view. So if you're looking for a list of all of the upcoming training going on, that's where you look. You can also always go to your regional website by clicking on the regional website button in the upper right-hand corner. That will take you to your region's calendar or region's website where you can look at a calendar view. And then finally, there's an internal messaging system where you can send messages back and forth with your connections. Keep in mind that it is an internal messaging system, so people will not, by default, get it delivered to their real live email addresses. It'll just stay inside BNI Connect, unless, of course, they've chosen to get it forwarded to their emails, which is an opt-in under your settings. So let's take a look at these connections. So connections, again, if I go into Manage here, or I can always go up to Network at the top here, all these menu items up at the top, I can go to Network and then go to Connections up here. Both are going to take me to the same place. And as I mentioned, this is really your personal BNI address book, where it's going to show you all of the people that you're connected with. And I can click on any of these people in here. So let's say Alicia. And if I click on Alicia in the list, it will show me her. This is really the short version of her profile. So I can see that she's in Palm Beach in the H2O chapter. I can see her contact information and be able to give her a call or send her an email or anything like that through here. And I also have some options down at the bottom here. I can send her a BNI Connect message. I can ask her for a testimonial. I can give her a testimonial. I can go and view her full profile, or I can remove her from my connections. Now keep in mind, again, this is a person outside of my chapter. For people that are in my chapter, these would all be the same. But for example, I have Angela Moon here. She is the mortgage broker in my personal chapter, the BNI Wakefield. So I can see my options are fewer here. I can send her a message or I can view her profile, but I've already given her a testimonial, so I no longer have the option to give her a testimonial. We can only give one testimonial per contact. And I also cannot remove her from my connections because, again, that is automatically managed for the people that are in my chapter. So how do we get people into our connections, into our personal address book? Well, we do that by the Bni Directory Search. So we can do that by clicking Add Connection up here, or from any screen in BNI Connect. This magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner will always be available. So you can always click on the magnifying glass from any screen, or from Connections, click on Add Connection. It's both going to take you to the exact same place. And again, this is the BNI Global Directory. And here's where we can enter some search terms and pretty much search for whoever we want to here in BNI. So for example, if I wanted to search for myself, I could just, the easiest way is always just type in your name. So I'm going to type in my name here, Jeremy Walsh. It's going to bring me some suggestions. It has two different exact matches. So we have exact matches and more results. So exact matches are going to take these two terms and they have to exactly match somewhere within the profile, which happens to be my name. Under more results, it will treat each one of these as a separate search term and match it somewhere. So that's why some of these other people are showing up. Mostly these are the Walshes here, and we have a Jeremy down here. So it's finding those other search terms. Now I can click on somebody's name here. So for example, let me click on Jeremy Walsh III. This is actually a test account of mine up in Antarctica. But Jeremy Walsh III here, we can see that he has not filled out his profile and he's not really sharing much information. This happens a lot in BNI Connect. If you haven't filled out your profile, this is what people see. So I was in Hong Kong recently and I wanted to see if I could get a massage while I was in Hong Kong. So I did a search for massage therapists in Hong Kong and I came across 3. All of their profiles looked like this. So unfortunately, I couldn't refer myself to them because I couldn't even get a phone number to contact them. And again, this is why it's important to also share your contact information even before you're connected with people. Because I can go ahead and add Jeremy Walsh III to my connections. However, until he accepts my connection, I still won't be able to see that contact information. And sometimes when you need to refer yourself or refer somebody right away, you want to have that information in front of you. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Let me click on my other match here, and this is my actual profile. And you can see this is a bit more complete. So it has all my roles and my name and my industry, my classification, my keywords, all of my social media addresses. I choose to display my email address and then my physical address as well. So people have tons of ways to get in touch with me. And then there's also all of these other tabs along the top. So we have the bio tab where we can see the weekly presentations, gains profile, and a tops profile. We also can see each other's connections, which is another way to connect with people. So you can search for them, or you can look at somebody else's connections and then hop over to one of those connections to offer a connection request. We can see people's testimonials. This is great credibility building. There is a photo sharing library where you can share photos from your profile. You add photos by going to Network Picture Gallery, and that's where you can manage these photos. You can see which groups people are participating in or leading. And finally, we can look at people's training history. So all of these, again, credibility building pieces of information. So for example, Gary, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to use you as an example. Gary from Hawaii. So I'm going to do a search for Gary Canner. And it's going to come up with his profile here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Gary to my connections. And what this is going to do is to send him a connection request. So say, hi, Gary. Thanks so much for being on the webinar today. I would like to add you to my connections. And I'm going to go ahead and click Submit that. And Gary will get a notification saying, hey, Jeremy wants to add you to his connections. And I can continue to do that. I can search for massage therapist. It would help if I spelled it right. In Hong Kong. Yep, and by the way, since then, I'm very proud to say all three members have updated their information. Oh, except Ada. She's put a profile, but she's still not sharing her phone number, so we still can't call her. Now, if you start needing a more advanced search, you can also click this button up here, Advanced Search, and now you can search against certain fields. So especially if it's a very common name or somebody, we have somebody in my region, his name is Peter George, so it's both a first name and a last name. So sometimes that can bring too many results back. So you can search just against certain first names or certain last names. You can search just within specific countries in BNI. One other quick note, and this really is kind of a little hidden tip, you can also search by email address here. For example, let's say we wanted to find everybody from Edward Jones. Most of them have an @Edward Jones email address, and this will at least give me the first 250 of them. After 250, you do have to start getting more specific in your searches. So what do we do now that we started sending these? Well, now we can also we have to be sure that we accept our connection requests. So as people want to connect with you, they're going to send you a connection request. You do need to make sure that you accept them. They're going to be back in your connections. So I went back to Network Connections. And if I go down to the bottom folder here, it says Received Requests. And this is going to show me all of my received requests. Now, some of these you can go through, and you can, if they sent you a message along with it, you can click on Read Message and read what they have to say. From here, you can choose to accept it, ignore it, or reject it. I'm going to go ahead and accept Vishal's request here. If you're not sure who somebody is, you can also click on their name or on their picture, and that will open up a new tab, and it will take you to their profile. So you can check them out. You can read more about their information, and then I can always go back and accept that afterwards. And as I have here, I have a number of connection requests. Judy just sent me one. Thank you very much, Judy. She's here on the webinar with us today as well. So again, I can see if she sent a personalized message. And you are very welcome. Oops, went too far back here. And I have multiple connection requests here, so I can go ahead and just receive all of them as well if I'd like to by clicking on Select All and click Connect to Selected. And now all of these people, you should see my connections go from 527 to 33, if my math is still correct. It's been a while since kindergarten. But there we go, yes. So now I have 533 connections, and that's pretty much all there is to it. As far as testimonials go, as I said, you do have to be connected with somebody before you can give them a testimonial. But really all you have to do is to click on their profile here within your connections, and here you'll have an option to give that person a testimonial. It's just a very one simple paragraph field that you fill out and click Submit. Now, once you've started giving testimonials, you can go and manage your testimonials. You can click this Testimonials button here. This will toggle you over to the testimonials. You can always go to Network Testimonials, or back on the home screen, you can click on Manage. And this looks very much like the connections in that we have a folder full of testimonials received. We can go and we can click on any of those testimonials received, take a look through it, choose whether or not it's going to display on our profile. And if we want to remove it, we can delete it as well. Now, again, I repeat, you can only give one testimonial per person. So if somebody wants to update their testimonial that they've given to you or give you a new one, you do have to delete it first. You can also review any testimonials that you've given to other people. And also any testimonial requests, very similar to the connection requests. You can choose to give your testimonial right now, ignore it, or reject it. All right, we only have a couple of minutes left till the bottom of the hour, though I can and often do talk about BNI Connect all day, every day. I realize that other people out there do have other things that they do in their daily lives. So what I'd like to show you real quick is the groups functionality in the last couple of minutes that we have here. Now the groups functionality is, again, a way where we can talk with other members around the world and other staff and even Dr. Meisner. So under the groups, you'll see your list of groups that you might be participating in. If you don't have any yet, click on Manage. This will take us into the groups functionality, and once we're in the groups, we will see our entire list of groups. And let me scroll down here. Right now there are 509 individual groups. These are active groups. I mean, some of them only have a couple of posts in them, but they are all active. We do have a rule in BNI that if it goes inactive for more than 90 days, they will be issued a warning. And if it stays inactive for another 30 days, so 120 days total, it will be removed. So it will be deleted out of the groups. So these are all active groups. And you can go through and start clicking through page by page by page, considering that there's only 5 per page. That would take a while. So you can also search, and this brings us to your question here, Laura. Can we search groups? Absolutely. Click the magnifying glass up here. And what you can do is search for a keyword or creator. So as I mentioned, Dr. Meisner, he has 2 groups. I recommend joining them both. Just type in Meisner under creator, and you'll see all of the groups. So we have From the Founder, Why BNI, and the Foundation Business Voices. I recommend joining the From the Founder group especially. You can see here there's 3,182 participants. All you have to do is click on Join Group and you'll start receiving notifications about the group and you can participate in the discussion. We can jump into that group and see all the various discussion topics here. So there's even one called Introduce Yourself. Once you join that group, you can introduce yourself and say, hi, my name is, and to all 3,000 people in the group, talk about instant networking. You can get that message out to all of the people there. But there's all sorts of different conversations happening here. You can jump in on them and participate. Now you can also click on participants once you start talking with people in the group, and there's going to be some people that you don't know. So you can look at the participants of the group. From here, I can click on any of the participants and be brought to their profile as well so that I can maybe connect with them. Finally, in groups, one thing that you can also do is you can create your own groups. Every person in BNI Connect has the ability to create up to 7 of your own discussion groups. Now, I do not recommend creating 7 of them. You do have to maintain them, as I said before, but you can click on Add Group, and you just have to give the group a name, and you can invite your contacts to that group as well. So, all right, we are at the bottom of the hour. So what I'd like to do is if you do need to leave right away, I'd like to say thank you guys so much for joining me for this third part of our series here. I do welcome you to stick around and ask as many questions as you want to. As I said, this is what I do all day, every day. I answer questions about BNI Connect and I train people about BNI Connect, so I am happy to stay on this call until every single question is answered. So please type your questions in and I will gladly get to them. While you're typing in any questions, just a couple of reminders. This is being recorded. You can find it on both the support site and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. We also have our list of upcoming webinars. A good referral for me is to click on this question mark and refer your fellow chapter members or people in your region or country to the next webinar. The very next webinar is going to be on Monday. So just a couple of days from now, we're going to be talking about member tools and reports. So we are going to go beyond the homepage again. We're going to go exploring the deeper regions of BNI Connect and start looking at some of the things that we can do through BNI Connect, especially the reports and getting the information back out, looking at statistics, looking at ways we can help you pass more referrals in BNI. That's going to be on Monday, and then on Tuesday, we're going to tackle the visitor process. How can we send out visitor invitations, and how can we track our visitors using BNI Connect? All right, so do we have any questions at all? Again, I'm happy to answer those questions. All right, so if there's no additional questions, what I'm going to do is to say thank you guys so much once again. I recognize a lot of the names here from the past couple of webinars as well, and I look forward to seeing you on the next webinar. Until then, have a wonderful weekend and happy connecting.